Welcome to the chaos.
We should probably start the show first.
I think.
What's up, everybody? And welcome back to the Chaos. I'm your host, Mikey Tableman, alongside my co-host.
Michael Tableman. Oh wait, my name is Danny J. Gomez. Danny J. Gomez
He is
in
Danny
the
J.
house.
Gomez. And I'm very excited about our episode today. I mean, I'm always excited about every episode we do every day. But we have on a very good friend of mine. He is my partner in crime, does a lot of festivals all over the world with me, Mr. Mizuki Asakura.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
What's up, man?
I'm flattered, Mike. Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Appreciate having you on.
Awesome.
So
No, it's
Mizuki's
good to
got a really cool background, but also a really cool type of how he's been through different cultures because he's
Japanese. Oh, I was like, what? Is that what you're getting at?
No, I know. Mizuki's Japanese, but no, that's not what I was
Yo, he
getting
left us.
I was like,
I left this hanging.
Yo, he-
I lost my thought process. there.
He built the tension so good.
I was like, I was trying to put the words together. But Mizuki does a lot of festivals over in Asia,
Oh,
which is really cool. So like, I'm really excited to hear about a lot of the cultural differences and things that he's learned in Asia that he's taken here, and obviously in the U.S. over to Asia. Because you have dual citizenship, right?
No, I actually only have a Japanese citizenship. I have a permanent residency here, so I'm a green card holder. Still an alien though, registered alien. But no, there's a good reason for that for me. Like you said, Mike, my background's Japanese, but I grew up here, Orange County, born and raised, more or less. Not born, sorry, raised in Orange County, and that Japanese passport for me is so much more accessible to so many other countries. It's ranked the #1 passport in the world right now. Has been for like the past many years. So in that aspect, I get to travel, with my work a lot. So I don't need a visa every time I go into different countries. So kind of works out a lot better.
So let's start there then, because that's when you actually started getting into the nightlife and festival scene.
Yeah, that's right.
So jump in. I know you kicked it off in Ultra.
Yeah, so I currently own and operate a company called NSE LLC. But previous to that, I started as an intern to the Ultra Music Festival organization in Asia. Worked my way there ever since I got there in college in Tokyo, and literally was the guy opening doors and holding backpacks and stuff. Stuck with it for many years. Went by, and sooner or later I was overseeing 14 countries operationally across the region until COVID hit, realistically. No, but no, it's like you said, it's been a great experience over there. 14 countries, now that I look at it, 14 shows doesn't seem that many now that we have so many damn shows.
Yeah.
But it was so far spread across the region that there's definitely different kinds of stress. And I was overseeing the whole show, not just the sky deck.
Yeah.
And the whole show operations consisted of much longer planning times, as we all know.
Yeah.
But I kind of made my way back after COVID. I literally went from 14 shows to quite literally 0. That was the one thing we couldn't do.
I mean, it wasn't quite literally. I mean, there was 0 shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were the people doing without their shows?
Exactly, right? But
Fucking
that was the one
raving by
thing we
themselves.
couldn't do.
No, they were. There was the virtual raves.
Yeah.
There was virtual raves that people would pay for. Some of those were actually real. Like Tomorrowland did a really sick virtual rave. Actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I remember doing a
Yeah.
little. And the house party app became popular, and just a bunch of my friends got on there, and we just get drunk.
Yeah, pretty much.
Looked like musical. What is it like the
Brady
Celebrity Square? Yeah, the Brady
Brady
Bunch.
Yeah, see, it was wild over here, right? In the beginning of COVID, I was in Taiwan at the time. And Taiwan was one of the countries that had zero COVID for a very long time. But that was because of all like the restrictions flying in and all that. But damn, I was watching the news over here. I called my buddies over here, but while you guys were still partying, Miami's a different beast as always. But I see news of
didn't
Miami.
close. Miami didn't close. Period. That's not a thing.
Florida.
Yeah.
Florida, Miami especially.
Wild.
wild.
Yeah. No, but for the better or for worse, I came back home, reconnected with you, Mike, and it's been a great run for the past little bit more than a year, going on 2 years now. Yeah.
So Mizuki's a big part of the Skydeck team now. There's a lot of things. Not only do we work together, he's also a partner of mine on multiple different projects we have coming out. in the next couple of years that we've been working really hard on. But he's become such a big part of the Skydeck team. I appreciate the man. He's so supportive, and the guy is like so knowledgeable on his shit. He's one of the best people to work with in hospitality, and he's become one of like my best friends. So
I'm flattered.
Extremely grateful for this human being. So tell us a little bit about though, because I really want to go. I really want to go to Tokyo, but I'm only going to Tokyo if I go with him.
Japan is like my #1 travel destination. It's been for a long time. I've never been, but
I can't say it's a great place to visit. Great place to visit, but I lived there for all through college and a few years after that. But man, I cannot live there. I grew up in Orange County, so I'm not a city boy personally.
So what's the difference though? Like obviously there were so many things that you can't do here that you do there, vice versa.
Culture so different.
Like culture, what's something that really sticks out that's very different, especially maybe what we do in the nightlife.
Realistic, basic. I couldn't smoke weed at all.
You can't smoke weed there at all.
I'll be real with you.
Yeah.
No, that was really tough. Yeah, it's highly illegal over there. So,
But you can drink your face off in the middle of the day.
yeah,
Right.
There is no alcohol laws over there. It's 24 hours. So the whole thing when I came here and the whole industry in California, especially. I mean, realistically, first things like you said earlier, super quickly in terms of work, alcohol doesn't stop serving at 2 a.m. That's a massive blessing for me as producers. When I first came into the U.S., I was like, oh, damn, shows end at 2 a.m. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But over there, 2 a.m., that's when the clubs are popping. That's when peak madness happens. That's when all the bottles start flowing. And people are zombies walking out at 5, 6 a.m. trying to catch the first train back home.
Yeah.
People are wild over there, man. But it's very different. In all reality, getting down to the nitty gritty, I guess, entertainment in Asia revolves around their drug of choice, alcohol. And in that aspect, it gets pretty sloppy, as we have all seen.
As we see very often.
Yeah, very often. U.S. is absolutely alcohol too, but there's so much more other substances that come into play. So there's just different ways of dealing with people. There's different ways to produce that given event because their set choice of substance is different. For instance, like Asia, when we put on shows, like it's all the attraction is facing forward. There's no one wandering all over the place because they're not on substances. People over here are looking all over the place because they have no idea what the is going on.
Look at
after
that light over there. Let's follow that light.
But exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But that's kind of the premise. It's you have that ability to showcase that production in all directions. We don't need that over there. We just need something boom happening over there. All your attention's there, anyways. So in that aspect, that's very interesting that I've noticed. Quite simply, though, man, Asians drink a lot. I can't keep up with that. It's wild.
But see, over here, like you said, like when we have a lot of Asians that are our demographic that comes to a lot of our shows. They have a lot of money. I can only imagine what the spends are like over there with some of the spends that we see here. But here, like you said, they're doing – I mean, everybody's doing so many drugs, but that just seems to be the thing. And like a lot of festivals I've seen, they'll buy a ton of bottles, but they'll just sit there, and then they're all just going to pop it and then just do –
and look around
this for hours. I'm like, I don't know how that doesn't hurt your head. But
and the thing about when like working in clubs, when we had the Asian nights, that's what they were called. The alcohol choices were so strange.
Yeah,
like
it was like there was a lot of
Hennessy, Johnny Walker Black.
They
Black
really
was a
like the
big
whiskey game over there.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
understand. I can't drink shots of whiskey in a nightclub, but people love it over there.
And
People
they're
take shots of gin over there.
Yeah, chugging out the bottle.
There's a lot of vomiting.
Yeah, I'm not about that. But they're actually very good about, like getting all that, so because they're used to it so much, right? Like, they're just boom, 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 and it's gone, and it's like nothing happened.
Yeah. I remember we used to have like buckets strategically placed throughout the venue and like the little cat powder, the kitty litter.
Kitty litter is the best thing to soak up. Yeah. It's the best thing to soak up vomit.
Absolutely.
Gross.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we don't have those days where we don't vomit anymore. We've come a very long way, Daddy.
Right. Oh, for sure. So what is a service like there in Asia, Japan, like from a bartender's perspective? Like what are they, I'm used to like speed and volume, and what is the quality there?
I think quality is good, but in general, U.S. alcohol is made much stronger. Like cocktails are made much stronger. Like the shot servings are larger here. You order gin and tonic here, it's pretty strong. generally speaking. In
We just have
Asia,
a heavy hand.
yeah, in Asia, it's pretty weak. It's
Yeah.
half. It looks like it's half a shot here, but like
Is that why they just chug from the bottles all the time then?
and that's the thing, right? Especially in nightclubs, the bottle culture is so much larger. Just looking at the space, the GA dance floor is much smaller compared to the table space that it takes up in the whole venue. So, everyone's popping bottles in that aspect, especially if you go to like China or Southeast Asia, man, where money really starts talking. Man, those people are.
Yeah, that's
Had that always been like? Because I know here, when I got to LA in like 2005, it was the dance floor was large and the bottle area was
small.
there was a couple tables here and there, and then it slowly started kind of flip flopping,
growing and
right?
growing and
Yeah.
growing because but funny thing is half the people you see at the tables are still Asians.
Exactly.
And it is like that all over the damn world, man. Yeah, but I think that's because they're just so much more accustomed to that, like having your own space, especially after COVID. Everyone wants their own space. Everyone wants to, not have to butt heads with everyone and have that quality of service if it's available.
We saw a massive boom just in like what people were spending. We have wait lists for people like, oh, we sold out, tons of people that still want to come if it opens up, willing to spend double the amount just to get in, just to have their own space.
Yeah.
I mean, we picked up so many other festivals and shows we started doing because it just became in such a demand, and we're one of, if not the best team in the business that handles that aspect of an operation. So it's like we still get hit up left and right
Yeah.
to do events all over, no matter like we get hit for Coachella a year in advance. We get hit for all these other like. It's crazy how many, and it's still growing.
One thing I'm curious about is like these companies that throw the events like Ultra and like how does somebody like there's so many that seem to be popping up. Like how does someone just be like, hey, I want to throw this festival and call it my own thing? Like how does that work?
Oh, people
Yeah.
come to us all the time like, so I got an idea for this festival. I'm like, nope,
No.
don't even want to hear it. 'Cause
Yeah.
people don't realize how much actually goes into building one of these festivals, and then you start to tell them, and either they get frustrated because they think you're being negative and don't want to help them, or you start doing it and they run out of money
Very quick.
very often. So we try to stay away from any startup things. Like we only work things that are established, people that have been around. We don't like working with people we don't know. And the only startup things that we do is our own personal events.
Right. Because you already have a name, you already have a brand that you're
Yeah.
building off of.
Plus, like the way we operate and how we're built for, we're built for large scale.
Yeah.
Like, so that you have companies that'll come that are like, oh, we only have like 10, 20,000 people and this is what we're doing. It's like they don't have the budget to pay us what we need to go in and make happen. Also, they don't have the clientele.
People don't see the bigger picture. Like everyone sees the glamorous side of this world, right? Like festivals, especially the table service, it's glamorous. It's bottles, fireworks, pretty ladies, guys, whatever.
Drugs everywhere.
Yeah, and it's genuinely a good time. But people don't realize that as an operator standpoint, it's not that profitable. As festivals are not profitable, period, in my opinion. There's just so much that people don't see. Like, do you realize how much those fireworks cost? The drone shows, like those are big costs, sure. And like these artists, god damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then people don't even realize what it's like for the security, the medical,
Correct.
the labor,
Porta
the
potties.
the
cranes.
riggers, everyone who's people that are driving golf carts around. Like there are so many aspects that people don't think about because they only see. The funny part is though, is like especially people that we like. I want to throw a festival. People will be like, "Oh, you run all the shows." I'm like, no. I run one part of the show. But in their mind, they don't actually see anything else in the festival. So in their mind, I'm the one who produces the whole thing, and I'm the man. And it's like, no, you guys don't even realize there's like 10. I might be the front facing for you at the moment,
Yeah.
but because people just don't realize how much goes into it and how big it actually is.
Yeah.
I mean, our biggest show is like 180,000 people that we do or a day.
No, yeah, I think
Like,
100.
what do
Yeah,
you
that's
mean?
about
Yeah, like,
accurate.
that's-
Yeah, a little bit. No, yeah, a little bit more than 500,000 over 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where's Ultra compared to like an EDC for someone like I'm not in the festival world, so I'm not familiar with that.
So
They both. Go ahead.
we know that there's like the big three usually, right? There's the EDC Las Vegas, there's the Ultra Miami, and there's Tomorrowland. That's kind of, in my idea, has been kind of still continuously is, and for a little bit will foreseeable, will be the three that will continue to stand as the big dogs, in my opinion. Yeah.
They travel all over the world though.
Yeah.
So
Ultra is the most global show.
Ultra's more global. Okay.
Yeah. There's, like I said, at one point, 14 shows in Asia. There's tons of shows across South America. North America's Miami. Europe's got one in Croatia. South Africa. I think it's in 6 continents, quite literally. Yeah, all
Wow.
inhabitable continents.
it keeps on expanding though, because like the one thing that festival brings is like, yo, it's community. Like so many people are lost nowadays. There's just so much going on, but it's like it's a space. Like the thing that I love about my job is like, yo, we get to curate a space for people to come in and forget about their issues and just not hate life so much for a day, a couple of hours, and like that helps us.
Yeah,
There's some days I'm depressed as hell working and just like, but then someone will come up like, oh my God, thank you so much. This means the world to me. And like, we take that for granted because we don't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, this is one of the best moments of their lives.
yeah. That's quite literally kind of the reason why I'm still doing this. I mean, because we talk all the time. It fucking sucks, man. You're loading it for a whole week. Yeah.
Bro, like,
We're working 15, 16 hours a day, still driving back an hour to the hotel. It's
Like-
pretty bad at one point.
and like, yo, it's high intensity. Like, it's not like when the show starts, like, it's a 15-hour day. It's not like, it like in the nightclub. It opens up and then we build, we hit it, and then it comes back down. As soon as doors open, yo, we're at 150 miles per hour until doors close.
Open to close.
Everything
Open
is
to close.
bumping.
Like, it's,
And you're
it's-
already, and you're on before you're
Way
before you
before.
open. You're
way
still going.
before.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're there weeks before setting
I-
up.
there-
Right?
there are certain festivals I plan months in advance.
Yeah.
Like 4 to 5 months in advance we start working on this. So yeah, then leading up to it, and then like that's what people don't realize. Like we do all this work leading up to it, which is just so time consuming and tedious. And then the show happens, and then we're expected to be on and deal with the most neediest of people. Like, yo, it mentally, physically, emotionally, takes a toll on all of us. But like me and you have talked about it so much. So from your end, how is that taking a toll on your side? Because we've never actually had that like deep conversation on like when you deal with your anxiety, and how is it stressful wise in Asia also than what we deal with now? Because what we deal with now is on a whole other level this past year.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, the number of shows that we've been crushing these past year or two has been astronomical, to say the least. Mentally, yes, but physically, you've seen me crumble
Yeah.
throughout the shows. So that's
Tell us about
definitely
that.
it's a very apparent thing that's been happening. I've had this gnarly stomach gastrointestine issue for a couple years now, and I'll go down once or twice a year where I just cannot take down anything, no food, no water, no liquid, nothing. And I'll just be constantly vomiting for, sorry, little graphic, but vomiting for
Vomiting is
hours.
the episode today.
Yeah.
hours and hours for, 6 days straight or something.
Wow.
So
It was scary. It happened to him in Vegas. We were all just like obviously the show is happening. We have to work, but we're just like more concerned. Like, yo, we're gonna have does he have to go to the hospital? Should we be doing more? Like, he wasn't even functional. Like he passed out on the track, and I literally had to pick him up and carry him to his car because he physically couldn't stand up.
and it just happens once or twice a year, and it's been crazy. I've looked into a lot of things to see what it is, but it's been hard to figure that out. But the doctors are definitely saying it's stress induced. I've put my business partner through hell and back just to, especially in Vegas, I had him go out for hours looking for a damn watermelon because that's what he's like, do you need anything? I said, I wanted a watermelon.
Yes.
And he just could not find it for the life of him.
You just wanted to bury your face in a watermelon.
Yeah, he's in the hoods of Vegas, just like, looking in every other small mom and pop store looking for a watermelon. He comes into the room pissed off, drops off the whole watermelon on the bed. He couldn't find a spoon, so he gets me an ice cream scoop and like some cutlery knife, and he's just like, boom, drops it off and bounces. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, so physically, that's definitely taken a massive toll on me.
Gastro stuff will kill you. Like I mean, just
Yeah.
you could be the strongest person, look like the strongest person in the world, but when that stomach messes up on you.
Yeah,
You're-
when
you're
I
on the
first
floor.
started, I met this producer guy who was on for Ultra, and he would have this intense diet for juices. He would be like, "Hey, on my rider, I need like those juice cleanse sets every single day at my show." And I was young at the time, I was 17, 18, 19, 20, I had no idea. But now looking back on it, 10 years later, I'm like, damn, that guy's been through it all. I finally get him. Like, I understand. Like, we're downing vitamins and stuff mid-show,
Yeah,
you
now,
know?
like 5 years ago, it'd be a lot of booze and and food, and now it's like we have these routines where we're like every morning we have to make sure we get breakfast. We have to get a
Yeah.
juice. We have to be taking certain vitamins and stuff like that. Like we have to physically take care of ourselves.
And, like, we
because-
look obnoxious, but we're wearing compression socks. Like, it
Yeah.
helps our lives.
And
Like,
people was like, "That's weird." Like, I'm just like, "No, like you don't understand. I'm on my feet for 15 hours. Like, my feet are killing me. My legs are killing me. I need anything I can get. Like, any little thing we can to help us, we do."
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a guest on last season, Pete Canot, who we used to bartend with, and he started his own like digestive health kind of wellness
Yeah.
supplement brand,
interesting.
and it's called Go Biotics. Little plug there.
You're welcome, Pete.
Yeah, right. But
Shout out.
seriously, it changed. Like when I had my spinal cord injury, it changed my digestive system completely.
Oh, well.
It just like I could eat the spiciest from 7-Eleven and and be solid for the next day. But now it's like after that,
Crushed.
it's like
I see.
I can't eat so many things. But when we had him on, he told us about it, and I started using his products, dude. And it was like night and day. So
Probiotic.
probiotic, prebiotic, an enzyme with every meal, and it really worked. So
Get added to the kit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
add
man,
it to
it's
the
so
kit,
good.
yeah.
Add it to our road case.
Road
of
case, yeah.
benefit
I
stuff,
was thinking
people.
that.
Vitamin C.
this episode of Chaos Control is
brought to you by
Go Biotics.
for your everyday clip.
Fix your
Damn, this is a huge
Literally.
plug.
That's our boy, man. That's the cool
Yeah.
thing. We plug everybody. Gotta keep the
it's
I
something
love
you
it,
could
yeah.
look into, and help you out when you're.
Absolutely. No, it's been massive that I've been really trying to be careful about health, eating clean during shows, whatever I can. Although it's really hard when you're half the things you can only get at those times are drive-throughs, at McDonald's and stuff.
And then during
But-
the show, sometimes we're so busy we don't eat, or if we eat, it's just like chicken fingers from the nearest food truck.
Yeah, you come by with chicken tendies. I'd be like, yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I'd like one of those. Yeah.
So I love seeing Mikey's Instagram videos when he's in the middle of a show, madness, and he's just sitting there with his snacks.
Out of all the things I've done and try to put out there, the thing that has hit the most has been my chicken tendy videos and
Yeah,
my
the chicken
tendy
tendy.
dance.
Dude,
Funny how
every
the-
year
funny
you
how the
need to
world-
have a wrap-up video. The foods you ate at all the shows. It's the biggest flex.
You know when you see somebody eating at the festival or something, you're like, oh, he's definitely not on drugs.
I do it in a
He
club
knows what's
too.
up.
I'll
Who's
bring
munching?
pizza to the club. Yo,
Yeah.
man, some of the food trucks are phenomenal though.
Oh,
like
dude.
you have some
Oh,
like
dude,
5-star food trucks that are like all over the place and are like featured in all these things, and like some of the food is really fucking good.
Dude, I'm all about that agua frescas at the
Yeah.
shows. Dude, that watermelon juice, ooh. Every show I get it, it hits the spot.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's fucking great.
It's the greatest. Yeah.
So what have you been doing on the shows? Like, what is your actual position? Like, what do you do when you show up to a show, or like when you're prepping for something?
So Mikey invited me on to help after 2 years ago after Gold Rush, which is a whole nother story.
We have to get back to that.
Yeah.
The craziest thing I've ever experienced in a music festival, and that'll be his final story for the fucking
Yeah, I
show
wanna hear
because
that.
this is like we'll take 10 minutes to go through this one.
That
but
was-
it is layered.
Yeah, that
It
was
is
that
layered.
was serious. That was some serious stuff right there. But after that, yeah, he helped me. Had me literally jump on from EDC Vegas. Officially was the first show.
Yeah.
Just threw me in the fire. He's like, "Hey, can you go and manage this deck?" Out of the 3 decks that was out in Vegas, and I was like, "Yeah, love to help." Didn't really know what I was getting myself into. In all
Soupy had a
honesty.
bail on me last minute,
Oh, no way.
and then he jumped in for Soupy.
Wow.
And I think I know what I do. I do best. I've been in this for long enough to at least know that in all shows what has to happen realistically. So more or less, we clicked massively at Gold Rush. It was that, nod the head and know what you're thinking, and we just get after it kind of thing. And that vibe just carried on all the way through. And EDC Vegas was crazy, but it was magic.
Yeah.
A lot of good things came out of that show. The whole Factory 93 situation was amazing. I loved it.
What
Yeah.
was that?
So when it comes, like, your original question to him was like, what does he do specifically? Like, when it comes to the core team, there's 5 of us. Everybody has to be interchangeable, because like you can have one specific job, but it's all hands on deck to get done. So there's 5 of us that run the initial core, and like everybody has their own lane to stick in, but everybody can handle a client, can talk to staff, can deal with back of house, can set up a POS system, can do an order, can diffuse a situation, can drive a van sometimes. Like, is literally, we
Yeah.
have to do it all.
Wow.
So like, as I'm driving the bus, but it's a full team effort, and he's one of the people I lean on, because I'm like, yo, I can't go deal with this person right now. He's like, I got it. He'll go there. So there's a lot of times when it comes to like client relations and dealing with people.
Yeah,
when I'm
front
spent,
facing
I just,
stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't deal with Mizzou. Please just go deal. I can't do it at the moment. I'm spent. Like, I can't do it.
Put me in, coach.
No, it's
That's
all good.
exactly.
Yeah.
And he's like, no
It's all
problem.
good, dude. I got you. Yeah,
Bro, that's
not
the
a
best thing
problem.
about our team is like
It's
you
like
have.
tag team wrestling, dude.
Bro, that's the
Tag
best
me out.
thing. Like, if you're gonna
It
be
happens, yeah.
successful in events, you need a bunch of people who have zero ego, and just like, all right, cool, let's just get this done. Like, we make a lot of money. We throw a party for a living. So like, as long as you're there to help out and can do whatever, like everybody's on the same page. It's just get the job done as best as you possibly can.
But because it is those atmospheres, it is full of snakes. I hate to say it. It's hard to find the ones that you can truly lean on. Luckily, I ran into Mike, and we just, straight off the bat, we hit it off with the head nod, and it worked. But sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it works out. But the team that I've been gifted to join, it's been phenomenal. Everyone's fantastic. Everyone leans on each other. Especially the management, we're super open with everything. Everyone's just like, hey, can you handle this? No problem.
Didn't y'all break some records at the last EDC?
We break records every
Every year, it's
Every
just better.
show.
every year. But that's what we were saying. It's like every show now. There's just so many things popping up. I mean, we break records every show. We surpass numbers. We've done some iconic shows this past year. You
Oh,
pointed
damn.
out yes, I like to wear all of my. I have so much merch
Oh,
from
dude.
festivals. Like,
Wait,
we
was
literally-
this?
But like these, see,
It's the one
When was
yeah,
this? When we were
when
young?
This was the one that happened in October of 2022. It was the big one of like all the throwback emo rock.
Yes,
it was
Avril
like
Lavigne.
Paramore, yeah, My Chemical Romance, Avril Lavigne, and like it was iconic. And then we were also at the Lovers and Friends one, which was the hip hop.
Hip hop, right?
version.
Yeah, yeah.
So like getting to do some of those things, it's like that's even cooler because like we're getting to see like icons and people from
Super.
back in the day that you would never thought you'd see, and
Super nostalgic.
beyond nostalgic. I'm
Yeah.
like, we're working, but we're like when you're doing an EDM show, it's like
Yeah, we're like fun.
like all that the whole f***ing time. But it's like
I
literally,
mean, we got a ear plugged in
yo,
that.
we were doing like we usually walk in, we're like head down like another show. We're up like, yo, we go to site yet? We ready?
Yeah,
Sound
yeah.
check? Like, bro, there was literally
Dude,
a
the
sound
sound check is the
They were,
most
like
epic
most people
part.
got kicked off the site, and we're sitting there, and we're on the main stage, and Usher and Luda are doing their full sound check,
Wow.
and we just
No
watched the
one's there.
entire soundtrack. I mean, that show at the end of the night, I remember sitting there, and Lauryn Hill and the Fugees closed the show, and they played the Score album, and I just sat there like this
Wow.
for an hour. I didn't fucking move.
What
But
were the
that-
crowds like? Sorry, go ahead. Go,
No, no, no.
Mizuki.
The crowd, so the cool thing about this one was the crowd was an older crowd. It was more of our generation, so the people weren't going, there wasn't really many fights. Everyone was chill, a lot of people smoking weed. It was hot, yes, but something crazy had happened there, and this is like one of the downsides of festivals is there was a fight that happened in the crowd.
Oh, man.
Somebody yelled gun, and it was a mass stampede.
Oof.
Like, luckily we're up on a deck, but people are jumping through back of houses. So like we're looking for everybody. Yo, everybody get down, stay in this section. Yo, go in this container, because like we have no idea what's going on. All we hear is that, oh yeah, there's a shooting gun, and that many people is dangerous. 60,000 people all scattering.
It's chaos.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Like,
Chaos doesn't even begin to explain, right? The stampede is fucking real.
people get hurt. Like,
Yeah. People are getting literally trampled, jumping over the fences, getting hurt falling off the fences,
you got 60,000 people in a fight or flight.
Yep.
Like, just like, holy people are shooting, I might die. And like, man, and we're in Vegas. which is where, you know, there's so much trauma from what happened at Route 91. And it's sad to say, like, this is what our country is like. But every festival I go into, I mean, I sit in the meetings with security, but it's like that's always in the thought of my head. Okay, like, where's every exit? What do I got to do? Is this person, like, it sucks that every time I go into a show, that's the first thought.
And was somebody, did that really, somebody have a gun or somebody was crying wolf, like, just to
It's
cause a scene?
So obviously we don't really fully know. Cops came in. So the festival stopped for 2 hours. Cops came in, assessed the situation, all that, and they said it was just, there was no actual gun. Somebody just called it out. I mean, it's really hard to get a gun into one of these festivals. I'm sure it's been done. I know it's happened before, but like you're going through multiple layers of security. You're going through metal detectors.
Come on,
Dogs,
people.
all that.
Be better. Don't do that stuff.
No, I mean, it's not even about not being that douche. It's like, yo, everybody is on high alert, right? So if you see some commotion, you see somebody going to pull something, you're not. I don't think whoever screamed it, I don't think they were doing it to cause havoc. Now, if you do that purposely just to cause a commotion, you're a terrible human being.
Yeah, it's,
That's just so up. But like, yeah, man, people are so like the world is a really scary place right now. Like you're very much on edge, and especially like I said, anytime I'm at one of those things, you're definitely nervous.
and it sucks that we have to feel that way, right? Because there's so much love and, you know, passion for the music, and, you know, the fans are there genuine. Most of the fans, at least, you know, are there to genuinely enjoy the music and party. So, and like you said earlier, you know, a lot of people will only come to these shows once in their lifetime, possibly. They saved up for possibly a whole year just to come to that whole show, and, you know, just to get hit with such an experience is so gnarly, and I feel for them.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks for us, but it sucks on so many levels.
Yeah.
I mean, there were people. I'm trying to do a better job of it. I definitely take it for granted. That like music, you said, people are saving up for years to go to Coachella, get the house, get the ticket,
Yeah.
maybe go to an after party, and we decide morning of, yeah, I'm going, production pass, parking, list, all that. It's like we definitely take it for advantage because most people
Super.
don't get to do that kind of thing.
I mean, back then I used to take so much more advantage because I hate to say it, but we got used to the whole thing of, like, what? Oh, I want to go to a nightclub. Shoot a text. Someone will come out. Escort you all the way, wearing slippers and a hat, you know, and
Like,
shorts.
So when we did When We Are Young, day one actually was canceled 40 minutes before doors. The festival made the proper call. The winds were too crazy. People would have got hurt. But how are you going to explain that to people who bought these tickets, flew into town, only
Yeah,
here for that day, and are waiting outside for doors to open to
Oh.
run in? So they cancel it. We're trying to do everything, and now there's still about maybe a good 800 people outside, and we have to walk through them. And they see us walking out, and people were just
We're all
cursing
heading our
at us,
passes.
like putting heads down, and somebody stopped.
You mean like
and tried-
walking through, like to leave?
yeah,
Yeah, so
to
like
get
we
out
need
of
to
it.
go to a parking lot.
So the gate. So there's the gate that nobody can come in, and the parking lot's on the other side, and there's all these people. And we
They're
had
all
to
just sitting
walk.
there,
They
and
were
they're
and
yelling.
and rightfully so. They're
Yeah.
super pissed. So like, I remember walking out, I just put my head down, and people are cursing at me, and I'm just like, I feel
dude.
terrible for them. I really do. I felt so bad. And like, yo, there was one girl walking past, and she was like crying, and I had an extra wristband, and she's like, "How much do I got to pay you?" I was like, "Nothing. Like, I feel so bad for you." And she's like, "You literally just made my year." Like,
Yeah.
she was like, I was devastated. I flew out here. I'm only here for today. I was so sad. Like, thank you so much. So it's like it makes such a difference to somebody who's never been to something like this.
There's shows where we do a thing where we're like, "Hey, did you do a good deed today?"
Yes.
And we'll come
Nice.
back at the end of the show. It's like, "Hey, I did one good deed today." And usually, you know, we'll pull someone possibly, you know, if all situations work out, you know, for the last few minutes or something on the finale, we'll pull someone up and let them have that show to have it from a good view or something. But that really, really makes their night, like makes their whole year. It's, you know,
I mean, people have told me, like, we do some experience with our front of house experience, stuff like that. And, like, you've given me the best experience of my life. And these are people in their late 50s, very, very wealthy, can literally do anything in the world, probably have. But they're like, what you guys did for us in this whole thing is one of the greatest experiences of my life that I'll never forget.
I still
And here
haven't
we
had
are.
that. I still haven't had that experience.
I don't know why you're not coming, bro. Everybody.
I went to EDC one time in Vegas and I had a terrible time, but I was GA. I didn't know anyone. It was long. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were probably still in high school when I went to EDC.
Probably.
Actually, walking through that moat, though, taking it all in at that show is something crazy. Half the time we're running around, we're just like, oh, you can't even look up.
Yeah.
But when you actually look up and soak it in, it's like because there's moments in the show where I look up, take a second, and I'm like, damn, there's a lot of people here. We're doing some like crazy things.
Yeah.
And you come to that realization mid-show, and you're just like, wow, it's pretty brilliant, Yeah. And then,
And then you go home after, and I have a depression crash. Well, you're just around all those people, and like think about it, you're around so many people, and so many people want your attention or need you for something, and then it's so loud, it's so overstimulating. To then back in your bed, and you're just like, it's very quiet, it's dark. I don't know what the to do right now. That's why I smoke so much weed.
Yeah, we talk about that loud silence all the time.
Yeah, dude. Like
it's deafening. It really
when that
is.
music stops
so
and you're
loud.
like, you're just like I feel like it's really hard. Everybody's reality is different, but I feel like we live in such a capacity where we're on the go so hard for months in these crazy environments and literally just flying by in the seat of our pants, and then we have 2 months and we're completely off with nothing. And it's just like, oh, people like go travel. I'm like, I don't want to get on a plane. I just did 4 months traveling all
you
over.
just want to sit there.
I want to sit in my house. I don't want to move. So like we live in these extremes, and it's definitely it's really hard to juggle a lot of the times, especially for me.
Like that term, like burnt out, was real. We were all so burnt out. Like, you want to do anything? No, just sit here in my bed. I'm tired.
It also gets tricky too because there's 5 of us as the core managers, but then we have like another 5 or 6 people that are like part of the core team. So there's 10 of us that are together for 3 or 4 months, like every day, 8-10 hours a day. So it starts to people start getting on each nerves. Everyone starts getting a little chippy with each other. Everyone starts getting worthy. You're seeing some blowout. The cool thing is like people will have it out, and usually 10 minutes later it's forgotten about or it's apologized heat of the moment.
Yeah.
But like, it happens more often than not because how could it not when you're in that type of atmosphere?
Yeah. And there's that family aspect.
Yeah.
That's why you carefully choose the people you work with now at this level.
Extremely have to be careful because if somebody comes in, like we have a really good vibe, and if somebody comes in and throws that vibe off, it all goes down. It all goes down.
Very cool.
But if you don't have like the right setup, and I think this is the best segue into our favorite festival of all time.
Man.
Sorry to everybody who works
Favorite.
who works that show and that team. We have a lot of respect for you guys. Love you all
So
what you're
much
doing.
love.
That point in time, just want to throw that out there because we're not trying to on this festival. They're
Definitely
doing
not.
great now. One of our guys, John Romano, runs the program now. He's amazing. Kid has so much potential. We love him to death. It was just something new, and we were kind of brought in last minute, and we were.
What do you mean last minute? Fucking day of the show for you, right?
Yeah, the day before
Wow.
the show.
Yeah.
But it was just one of our buddies was running it, and then it was just more. There was way more than he bargained for. So he's like, "Yo, come help us out." He's called me. He's like, "Yo, can you come?" I'm like, "I need this, this, and this." Thinking he's never gonna be able to come through with it. He's like, "All right, cool." I'm like, I guess I'm going. And that was like one of my only weeks off too. I'm like, this, but I was like, all right, I went. Oh my God, I've been through some, my dude. I have seen some. This was on a whole other level of like.
I want to hear the
Mind
details,
blow,
man.
mind
blow.
Details.
Mind you, because this is one of my first shows back in the U.S. Like, I've been focused most of my time in Asia. Granted, I did Miami, sure, but like not a massive part. Here I get thrown into this show. I reunite with Mike.
I just brought on. You were actually working. I was just a consultant.
So
Shit.
he asked me to come, but he asked me like a week, 2 weeks before. So I had a heads up a little bit, and I reunited with him. I reunited with Chris.
Chris Kim, who's our other the third head of this trio.
What up,
Yeah.
Chris?
Much love to Chris. Love you.
So it's funny because they're all get there, and I
we're
get
just
picked up from
like,
the airport,
"Oh, shit."
and they're all standing outside, and I walk in, and I'm just kind of like, and they all just start laughing. I'm like, oh, when's the festival? Like tomorrow. I was like, wait, really?
So walk me through this for someone who doesn't do festivals. Like, what are you expecting to see
So
when
I
you get there? And where is it? What city?
We're in Arizona.
Well, hold up. side note, we're spoiled because we've worked for such large organizations.
course,
yeah.
So yes,
We're very, very spoiled. We work with the professionals, the best of the best. So we get in here, and now when you get to a pre-show, you're expecting, like when you go to a concert or somewhere, there's a stage that is built. Everything there. There are activations, there are rides, there are bike rack, there is a check-in, there is stations. This festival, the stage was not fully built. There was random things all throughout. We didn't have anything to set up. We didn't have any. There was no like security out there. Like anybody could just walk on the site. Like when we do Insomniac shows, there's 3 levels of security that you have to have proper wristbands just to get on if you're building the show. 0. Anybody could. Random people were walking on.
Wow.
we flat out drove onto the grounds.
Yeah, like literally, like drove. Like I can't do that in Insomniac.
No
I can't
passes,
drive my
nothing,
car
just-
up to the deck. Literally, I drove my car to where the
Yeah.
office was. Literally drove the car right up there. And we're still, and like the crazy thing is, we're still underselling this because unless you were there, you won't understand like that feeling. We were just like, we had half of our guys that were there. A lot of people from my team ended up going out for one of our other friends to support. And halfway through the first night of setup, we're just like, nah, man, like this. And so like, barely get doors open. I think doors got pushed. It's opening
Doors got
now.
pushed,
There is
yeah.
now. I've never seen this before ever. And I think we have a picture somewhere, and if we have it, it's going to pop up. There is a, day one, there is a car in the middle of the festival. Like, right smack in the middle of the festival.
Like
Just a
straight in
random
front-
car.
Yeah,
Just a random car.
in front of the stage.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like a little
Yeah.
bit out. And nobody knew whose car it was, and they couldn't tow it because they didn't have a thing to tow it, so they just bike racked around this car. Now, the music goes on, it's loud, so it makes the car alarm go off.
Oh,
Now the car alarm is going crazy the whole show.
Literally the whole show.
are people thinking this is part of the show or?
I don't know. Like we try to stay in our own little world.
Yeah.
In these shows and not venture out, but
I could imagine me being not a big festival goer, and I see something I'm like, oh, that's an interesting choice.
yeah. People
But
might have thought it was
What
part
kind
of
of
the show.
what kind of car was it?
Like a 95 like Toyota Corolla, too.
Even better,
Some like
even
beat
better.
up like old school car.
Yeah, it was pretty beat up. It was pretty bad. But the fact that it just got left there and the show went on just absolutely baffles me. Like, any of our other shows probably just, forklift. God.
You want
Go
to
on.
keep going and tell them about day one?
Yeah, and then my buddy walks on. It's chaos the whole time, and my buddy who's an attorney walks on. The first thing he goes is looks up the stairs. It's like, is this okay? Is this safe? There's like massive holes, the back of the neck. Anyways,
There's no so when you come in through a bottle service, there's a special check-in. You go in through yourself. It has its own tent, its own walls, its own security, its own POS system. We had none of that. Nothing at all. There wasn't even security.
Shit.
Like we didn't have actual security. Like they hired like mall cop security. So on the actual deck, we had 4 security guards. This one guy had to be in his 60s. One 21-year-old girl, another like 25-year-old girl, and this other guy like in his 40s, and that's all we had.
Wow.
Did you get in a fight?
Yeah, I did. That was on day
Yeah,
2.
right,
Oh, no,
that
I didn't get into a
happened.
fight. I got jumped.
Yeah, that happened
got
too,
jumped. Yeah,
right?
so-
Yeah, I was like, holy
Okay,
shit.
so night 1. This is supposed to be a Zuki story, but
I was
it's
like,
it's a co.
Hold
here.
on.
So you were
Oh.
there. You were there.
He was there. So night 1, it's just night 1 is just so unorganized.
Chaos. It's to the point
Chaos.
where halfway through we're like, hey, pyro, and we'd radio each other, and pyro for us was code word, and we'd just go on a smoke break.
Yes.
And it got to the point where we're just like pyro, 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 pyro,
Every
pyro.
30 minutes. Like
Is this
we-
the festival where that was born? The pyro?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. The pyro was born there. So like we each we had one golf cart to share between all of us. So someone would come pick us all up, and we would drive around and find a little spot. And like it wasn't even just like a joint break. Like he would rip out a f***ing bong, and we were just sitting there taking f***ing bong rips.
I came out with my whole set.
Again,
you know?
like this is how you know we're over it, because like at one of our regular shows, that would never, like we wouldn't even think. So that, bro,
No,
I remember
yeah.
there was a point in the night. It was just so chaotic. Everyone was over it. There was like the front of house table, which is like the big table in the middle, which they shouldn't have done in the first place. We ordered pizza.
Yeah,
We ordered.
dude.
Oh no, we didn't order. One of my good friends, she picked it up on the way. We had 5 pies of pizza. We took a bottle of 42 and a couple of blunts out to the front of house table. It's me, it's him, it's Chris,
And
it's 3
I
of the
was managing
cocktail
the deck.
waitresses.
He radios me. He's like, "Hey, I need you to come to the front of house." I'm like, "Okay."
We're sitting there.
Wait, you know what would have been better if you would have been in the '95 Corolla, toking it up
It
with
was
the
too
feet.
far away. So like we're literally in main stage sitting there smoking blunts, just like. And I think like Diplo was on at this time. We're all raging, having a good time. And the guy who's like running the show, who brought us all out there, just comes out and just sees us and grabs a slice of pizza, and everyone just starts laughing. And one of the guys was like, "If this was you, you would have lost your mind." And like, if this was me, you wouldn't even have the audacity to try this. Are you
What
serious?
Be here, bro.
So the end of night one, we're sitting around and we're just like, "Oh my god, what the do we do?" And our buddy, love him to death. He's just like, "Can you guys?" I'm like, "You know, I came out here to consult. Not working. This is."
You ended up working.
I ended up working. We
Was
go.
it a 2-day show or a 3-day
This
show?
was a 3-day show. We
3-day
go
show,
inside. He's like,
yeah.
"What do we got to do?" I was like, "We got to apologize to the staff." He's like, "What do we say?" I was like, "You don't say anything. I'll do the talking." So we literally go in, apologize to everybody. We come back in day 2, and we had this whole thing of like, "All right, this is how things are gonna be. This is how it's gonna go." We walk in. We have a big staff meeting. I'm like, this. If you don't like it, like, you can leave. You guys are on my terms now. People weren't very happy about that in the beginning, but as the day went on, they were fine because now
we literally took over.
we took over.
Yeah.
Me, him, and Chris just like, all right, cool.
Just-
You go here. You run the podium. I'll run the deck. Chris, you run the front.
Yeah.
Let's all stay in touch. This, go. So now things are moving pretty well up to this point. Well, that security issue became a problem. There's a couple of really up people, and the guy who was in charge, like, "Yo, I want them off the deck." I'm like, "What the do you want me to do?" So he tells the security guard. The security guard, this old 60-year-old man who's literally, at this point, loving the show, is headbanging like this on the railing, not even watching what the is going on. So he's
Loving life.
trying to
Yeah.
kick this guy out, but he doesn't know how to be a security guard, so he's pushing this guy.
Oh shit.
And he's pushing him, and this guy is hammered. So this guy just throws him on the floor and starts beating the shit out of the security guard. Beating him. So I then go to like help the security guard out, but this guy is bigger than I am and outweighs me by like 40 pounds. I go to like try to pull him off. He flips me over him. Now he's holding me down and just wailing away at me. Wow. Then two of the TSAs, who's our usual team, comes and tackles him.
Yeah.
Then his friends come over this way. Then the cops come because there's cops in the festival.
Yep.
Break it all up. A lot of words were said between a lot of people that we don't really need to get into. Day 2.
Yeah, that was day 2.
That was day 2.
Yeah.
So day 3 comes around, and we mutiny.
Oh yeah.
We mutinied. We mutinied.
We
So,
were pissed.
We were pissed. So we wake up. We all go to brunch. We're supposed to be there at 4 o'clock. We're all sitting at brunch, and a text comes through to all of us from the guy in charge, and everybody just looks at me, and I have my head down, and I'm just
And we're
going.
literally just eating casually at lunch. It's like, if y'all go, I'll go too, you know?
Really,
Just
so
be
he's
having
like,
my
I
sandwich.
don't really know what's going on.
I don't really care. dude, at
Texting
this
away.
point. I'm
Everybody
just-
reads it. He calls me. I don't answer. He calls Chris. Chris screams, screaming at him. Everyone's like, well, what are we doing? I was like, so I finally got on the phone. I was like, yo, we're only coming back if I have a proper security team. So I want you to send me articles. I want you to send me articles of accreditation. I want to know where they're from. I want to talk to them. You got 4 hours. You better get to work. And we just sat there and kept drinking.
Yeah.
We just
I had
now,
a great
yo,
lunch.
yeah, man. Like we got lit. Like half the
We
servers
were
we got
so
lit.
high.
4 o'clock comes, we're supposed to be there. We're not there. 5 o'clock comes, we're still
Still
not
not
there.
there.
5:30, I get the phone call. I'm like, all right, let's go over there, check with these guys. We go in. Somebody's like, okay, can they? I'm like, nobody move. Everybody sit here, and until I come back and tell you we're working. Otherwise, we were walking off. So they were all like really in their pants. So me, him, and Chris go to meet these go to meet the security guards, and I don't know how, by the grace of God, he got like actual nightclub security
But
guards.
it was the most epic moment because
Yeah.
you see them come out the corner. You see like a bunch of big dudes just turn around. Us three look at each other. We're like, all right.
Bro,
In
it was
slow
like
motion.
you seen the meme where it's like the Power Rangers meet the Ninja Turtles? Like, yeah, all right, cool, we good. Let's go. Walk in, this here, that there, blah, 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 blah. They go ahead with the
Epic.
staff, and then I walk in with the staff. And if this was a movie, it'd be
dude.
when they all walk out, like the team walks out, and then it pans up, and
Like
everybody's
Avengers Endgame.
Bro, remember like in Monster, and like yes, like in
Assemble.
Monsters Inc. where they all come walking out. Like, whoa. And they all come out. The whole team starts cheering, gives them a standing ovation. They're like, yo, what the did y'all go through? We're like, you have no idea, bro. No idea.
Epic.
Oh my god, it was.
Yeah.
Again, we can look back now and laugh on it, but at that moment, I didn't talk to homie for like 6 months. I'm like, I'm so mad. I was so mad but also on that part, what's the worst night you could work in hospitality? Sometimes
The worst night?
industry night.
Oh,
When you're in an industry that you don't know the people. So now nobody told us it was an industry night. So there was 11 comp
that was
tables.
Everyone,
right,
somebody.
11 comp tables that night for industry throughout Arizona that nobody told us about.
Mm,
So you can get the entitlement of the industry there.
massive.
And they didn't know. None of them know who we were. So
Right,
it didn't really matter. So it was just arguments left and right. So I was I probably have done over 200 festivals. That's in my top 3 competing for number 1 as to the biggest show I've ever been a part of.
Yeah. But we, like, like you said, though, good things came out of it. We, like, genuinely trauma bonded over
Yeah.
that experience.
Right.
But it's just the crazy thing of like, yo, the festival went off, people had fun, everything was fine. And if you're there, you can see that there's some issues, but it's not that big. You're still getting having a good time. You don't realize that behind the scenes, we're drowning.
Yeah.
It is fucking utter and pure chaos. Nobody wants to talk to anybody. Everybody's pissed off.
It was a pretty monumental show for that group, too, that year, So at the end, all said and done, everything works out. You kind of have to work it out at this point,
You don't got a choice.
You
make it happen.
What would have happened if you guys didn't go back that day?
I don't know. I mean, they would have been all the people that paid for tables would have had to be refunded. There would have been nobody there to work it. Like a couple people, like it was. So the thing was, it was a combination of our team plus some local people.
Yeah.
So the local people would have went back, but it was just us who were like, no, we're not. But we're the ones who are the professionals that know what we're doing.
What a lot of people don't understand is just because you hire a bunch of the people that work together, just doesn't work like that. Yeah.
And just because you work in a nightclub doesn't mean you know what the fuck you're doing.
It doesn't transfer over, yeah.
It does not. Parts of it
Only your
does.
work ethic transfers over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there are some similarities. Like
Absolutely.
once they get to the table and
The
service
service
throughout the
stuff?
middle,
Yeah.
that's similar.
Yeah,
but
right.
the before the getting them out, because you have to help them egress. You have to be aware of what time it is because they have a helicopter they gotta get to, and they're trusting you to get them to that helicopter on time. You have
Yeah.
different types of paperwork, different types of financials you're dealing with. So it does differ a lot.
Right.
So they took a bunch of club people and thought it'd work, and it did not.
Yeah.
But they're doing great now.
Like we
So-
said, love the guys, love the show, Honestly, miss Johnny.
I mean, it's not like, again, there's nothing personal. We all just,
yeah.
it's just a crazy environment. So that's a crazy. So you got any more crazy stories? Something from Asia?
Dude.
Some of the things you've seen over there before
mean,
we
I've-
wrap up and get out of here?
I've been put on pretty gnarly spots. Like, obviously, yeah, there's, all these kind of trauma experiences. But, like, I've been in, like, literal life or death situations in that aspect. And that, like, people get really fucking wasted. People are drunk as hell. And when they can't have their way, especially when there are, people who are throwing hundreds and thousands of dollars like it's nothing, they think they own the fucking world, which, granted they do in that
that
space, but like, they can't get everything they fucking want. We still have to, there's ways, we operate things. And at one point, this guy was so pissed, he took his champagne bottle, snapped it on the table, and just put it up to my neck, and I'm
That's wild.
like,
Which is
holy
impressive. Break a
Holy
Champagne bottle, too.
But when you're put in that moment, I'm just like, holy I froze. And luckily, I have security on me. I had an assistant that would walk around with me. All of it just kind of went down and everything was handled very quickly. But when you're put in that situation, holy I was frozen. Like, I thought I was, I saw my life flash before me in a music festival.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's been pretty stressful situations in that aspect, but most of the stressful things that I remember are operational disasters. I'm sure a fair share of people in production can share the same sentiment about a glorious group of 3 people who makes her life so easy with three dots. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the mafia, the Swedish House Mafia is yeah, we've been canceled by them on the day of the show, which that was catastrophe. I don't know. There's
Swedish
just so
no
yeah, we paid like $1 million for those fools. Yeah, just to get them on the show to get canceled on the day of. We thought there was gonna be a riot and stuff. Like, when we talked about a stampede of 60,000 people coming at you, it's real. Like, we set up barricades, we increased security, we had exit routes. Like, people, it gets nasty sometimes. When people are angry, people are angry,
Angry
dude.
mob, man. You can't stop that. That's the biggest.
Yeah.
That's the toughest thing to stop.
Yeah. So, despite all those things, though, like we said, in our journey, though, it's been looking up. We got a lot more shows now. It's been tough, but
We got a lot,
a lot
of
more cool
we
shows
got a
coming
lot of
up.
Cool shows. We got a lot of cool projects. Things we can't touch on
Dude,
yet.
speaking of your shirt, man, when we were young, dude, the lineup is absolutely
Sick.
next year, or this year,
It's like
sorry.
Blink 182 and
Green Day and
yeah.
Blink 182
Oh, I
are
wanted to go to that.
headlining.
Bowling
Weren't the
for Soup.
tickets like a grand?
Already sold out.
They sold out instantly, but to know that we could be something a part of that is
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
And like you said,
That's why I get merch from every show.
And are these a festival that they're gonna keep doing?
Yes.
Well,
They're the same people that did Lovers and Friends as well, and it's a similar lineup for Lovers and Friends with like the old school '90s nostalgia and R&B. So
their cabanas are beautiful, by the way.
yeah, their setup's great.
Yeah,
But Mizuki, we love you.
love you too.
Thank
man.
you so much for being on here. It was a treat as always. I look forward to
Absolutely.
all we have going on. I look forward to keeping everybody
so
updated.
much,
Yes.
so much.
And is there anything you want to plug? Your socials or any events that you have coming up or?
I guess our industry is just so internal that there's not too much that I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a who knows, but the partner that I mentioned earlier, my business partner, shout out Newman Law. Love him to death. He's been awesome.
He's my guy too.
Newman
Yeah.
Law, and watermelon expertise.
He's a very big part of what we do as well with,
Nice.
with a lot of our future ventures. But Mizuki, again, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
That was the Chaos. Join us next time. Peace.